Quand je la mettais sur ma tablette, c'est pas les mêmes choses. Puis quand on l'écran.
OK, attention là.
Oui, c'est ça, c'est facile à faire comme micro.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our January 20th TNO meeting, where I am the mayor of the TNO and all of the 18 usual mayors are councillors of the TNO. We will begin with the attendance. Please say present when I call your name. Winston Sundstrom.
Present.
Carl Mayer. Are you on, Carl? Carl? Okay, I'll come back to Carl. Brent Orr.
Present.
Alain Gagnon.
Yes, present.
Maurice Beauregard.
Present.
Donald Gagnon.
Present.
John Armstrong.
Present.
Debbie Laporte.
Present.
Serge Newberry.
Present.
Kim Cartier-Villeneuve.
Present.
Gilles Dion.
Present.
Lynn Cameron.
Present.
Jim Gibson.
Present.
Sandra Murray.
Present.
Doris Ranger. Doris? Well, we know that you're here, present.
Present.
Thank you. Colleen LaRiviere.
Present.
Karen Kelly.
Present.
David Rochon.
Present.
Bernard Waugh. We know that you're here, Bernard. Annie Vaillancourt.
Present.
Travis Laddister.
Present.
Kim Lesage.
Present.
Natasha Guamet.
Present.
Julian Gagnon.
Present.
Colleen Jones.
Present.
Cindy Phillips.
Present.
Jason Durant.
Present.
Alex Savoie-Perron.
Present.
Okay, let's see. I'm going back to Carl Mayer.
Here.
Excellent. We have perfect attendance, all 18 municipalities represented. Thank you very much. And at this time, I would like to welcome residents of the Pontiac who've joined us on Facebook Live. And I'd just like to remind you that even after COVID, we hope that all MRC meetings will continue to be broadcast this way. Thank you for joining us, and also our local media. I need to, on item 2, remind everyone that it is a ministerial decree that because of COVID, that video recording of the sitting and Facebook Live is done. And the video recording of this meeting will be available on the MRC website tomorrow. Now I'll go to our declaration, use of the language of your choice. À celles et ceux présents ce soir, je rappelle que c'est votre droit de vous exprimer librement dans la langue officielle de votre choix. Au besoin, une ressource de la MRC pourra en assurer la traduction. Number 4, reading and adoption of the agenda. I need a resolution. I'll go back. I needed a resolution to open the meeting. Moved by
Doris,
Councillor Rongier. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. And then resolution for the reading and adoption of the agenda, moved by.
Jim Gibson.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 5, are there any declarations of interest or conflict of interest? Seeing none, we'll continue. I need a resolution for the adoption of the minutes of our last sitting. So it needs to be a councillor who attended the last TNO meeting. Moved by.
I will.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Yes. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. E, questions from the public. We don't have any for the TNO agenda. Number 8, accounts paid. Annie Viancourt.
Oh.
Hello.
Okay, so for the TNO, you have the income statement that is at December 31st. It's not the final version yet. The auditors still have to go through and we still have some work to do yet. We have some accounts receivables right now for a little over 478,000, mainly for some road and bridge projects. So some of them are billed to the government for grants and some to the leases. And we have the accounts that we paid since the last meeting, which are $606,854.80. So again, with the road maintenance, so there was some bridge construction projects. We have an invoice here that was over $540,000. The rest were all little invoices. One was for management fees at the MRC, that's part of the budget, and then the other ones are all like gas and just materials and stuff. So that's it for that one.
Okay, thank you, Annie. Are there any questions? Could I have a resolution, please? Moved by.
Don.
I saw Maurice Beauregard first. Councillor Beauregard, all those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 9, the acceptance by the TNO of the amendments to the SUMI agreement for water rescue. Julian Gagnon.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. We have before you here a resolution amending our off-road rescue agreement. That was a regional agreement for off-road rescue. We are now adding some articles on water rescue, and as proposed by the MRC at last month's regional council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments on this? Could I have someone move the resolution, please?
That's Donnie.
Moved by Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 10, renouvellement de l'entente pour l'entretien et la réfection des chemins multi-usages sur les terres de domaine de l'État. Resolution, Jason Duran.
Thank you, Jane. Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. Since 2010, the MRC Pontiac has agreements with the MFFP in order to be authorized to proceed with the maintenance and the repair of multi-use roads on its territory. The current agreement with the MFFP expires on January 29th, 2021. So this being said, in order to still be entitled to maintain and repair the multi-use roads that's found on our territory, resolution from the MRC Conseil TNO is required as soon as possible in order to begin the process of signing a new authorization.
Thank you, Jason. Are there any questions or comments? Could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Councillor Dion. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. And could I have a resolution to close the sitting? Moved by Councillor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries, and we are closed. Now we will go on to our Regional Council of the MRC for January 20th, 2021. We have already done the attendance, and so Could I have a resolution to open it, please? Moved by Mayor Laporte. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Number 2, a reminder that as a ministerial decree, because of COVID, we can't have face-to-face meetings, and so it is important to have video recording of the sitting and Facebook Live. Welcome to everyone on Facebook Live, and this recorded meeting will be available on the MRC website tomorrow. Thank you. Number 3, the declaration of language of your choice. À celles et ceux présents ce soir, je rappelle que c'est votre droit de vous exprimer librement dans la langue officielle de votre choix. Au besoin, une ressource de la MRC pourra en assurer la traduction. Number 4, could I have a resolution to read and adopt the agenda? Moved by Mayor Pro Warden Cartier-Villeneuve. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Are there any declarations of interest or conflict on this agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will continue. Number 6, I need a resolution to adopt the minutes of the last sitting. Moved by Mayor Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. And now it gives me great pleasure to speak about a very special person in the Pontiac who I have known through the investment committee. And the person that I'm speaking of is Sylvie Landrieu. And we are starting a new tradition in the Pontiac MRC, and that is that when someone has given extraordinary service, especially length of service in the MRC, and especially on MRC committee, we're going to recognize them. And it would have been great to have had a big crowd here, but we know that members of the investment committee are watching tonight. And I will be turning to the chair of our committee and also our director of economic development to say a few words, but I will just begin and simply say that Sylvie Landrieu has been a resident of the Pontiac for 37 years and has lived most of that time on Calumet Island. You would know Sylvie through Carrefour Jeunesse. She spent 35 years there, and she actually retired from the investment committee of the MRC at the end of August. Sylvie told me that prior to that, she was with the CLD and was on their investment committee. And so when that was dissolved, she came to the MRC investment committee. So I have, I'm going to put my mask on because Sylvie is here in my office and she has her mask. And so I'm going to present, this is what the award looks like. And I'm going to read what it says. And Sylvie, I'd like you to be standing 2 meters apart. I hope you'll be able to see Sylvie. And then actually, before we do this, I'm so sorry. I'm going to give Emile a chance to speak. But Sylvie, why don't you stay where you are so you can see Emile? Is Emile Vallée on the line right now?
Oui, Madame la Préfète, je suis là.
Ok, parfait, bienvenue. Commencez.
OK, merci. Ça me fait plaisir de participer à cet honneur pour Sylvie. Je le partage énormément moi-même. Sylvie, on s'est connus depuis longtemps aussi, là, à SADC, au CRD et maintenant à la MRC. C'est au-dessus d'une quinzaine d'années, je pense, là. Pour ceux qui... un comité d'investissement, ça considère évidemment des études de faisabilité, des études de rentabilité, bilan financier, plan d'affaires, etc. Maintenant, un comité d'investissement fait plus que ça. Pour pouvoir faire un bon travail, ça prend un input, quelqu'un qui connaît bien la communauté, qui vient de la communauté. Et puis, je pense que Sylvie reflétait, je vois ce rôle-là à la perfection. Sylvie, c'est une membre qui est très diligente, très rarement absente. Et puis, quand elle devait s'absenter, elle s'excusait gros comme le bras, comme on dit. Elle était aussi toujours très bien préparée. Elle avait lu ses dossiers. C'est une membre engagée et sa motivation principale était clair et sans équivoque, le bien de la communauté. N'hésitez pas à poser des questions difficiles pour s'assurer que chaque projet rencontre les critères établis et contribue au développement économique de la MRC. Merci beaucoup, Sylvie. Je ne sais pas quels sont tes projets pour l'avenir, mais je te souhaite bonne chance. Ça fut un plaisir et un privilège pour moi de siéger avec toi. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Et aussi une autre personne, Cindy Phillip, our Economic Development Director.
Hello, Sylvie. It's nice to see you, even if by distance. I just wanted to very briefly say that Sylvie has contributed in so many ways to the development of our region, not only through Carrefour Jeunesse, but also with our investment committee. And the insight and the wisdom that she brought to our committee of the MRC Pontiac was appreciated not only by her fellow committee members, but by staff and clients alike. To Sylvie, I want to tell you that I very much appreciated your level-headedness and the objectivity that you brought to every decision. And I wanted to personally thank you for your guidance when I entered into this position. It certainly made the transition easier for me. I wish you all the happiness in the world in your retirement, and I know that you will enjoy our beautiful land that we call home. I will miss you.
Thank you very much, Cindy. So I will read, it is a certificate of recognition from the MRC Pontiac to Sylvie Landrieu. And it says, ce certificat vous est remis, Sylvie Landrieu, en reconnaissance de votre contribution extraordinaire et de vos années de service à titre de représentant de Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi du Pontiac au sein du comité d'investissement de la MRC de Pontiac. Au nom du conseil des maires et du personnel de la MRC, nous vous remercions pour votre travail remarquable et votre dévouement à ce poste. So I will present this to Sylvie. Bernard is taking a picture, so Sylvie will have that. Merci. Okay, Sylvie. And so now the floor is yours, and Sylvie will address everybody.
Bon, je vais enlever mon masque. Hein. Je pense que c'est plus facile pour parler. Et merci tout le monde. Merci, Émile, merci pour ces beaux mots. Vous me faites rougir, mais ça ne fallait pas nécessairement en dessous du masque. Un grand merci puis merci à Jane aussi, puis la MRC, puis un grand merci vraiment pour cette je trouve que c'est un honneur là, que je sois surtout la première à être reconnue. Quand même beaucoup sur des comités comme ça. C'est une belle reconnaissance, puis c'est très apprécié. Je vous remercie beaucoup. C'est vrai que je suis là depuis 35 ans. J'ai été impliquée sur beaucoup de comités, tant économiques que socio-économiques, puis que ce soit le CLD, la CDE avant, après ça le CLD, puis le comité d'investissement tant économique, le comité multi-ressources aussi, puis j'ai beaucoup appris. Ça a beaucoup influencé aussi ma façon de travailler dans le milieu communautaire, au Carrefour. Puis je pense que ça m'a beaucoup aidé aussi dans ma carrière si longue là, avec le Carrefour puis dans le milieu. C'était une expérience vraiment enrichissante. So I'd like to thank everybody. I thank the MRC and I've said all the others, which is I learned a lot from the members of the committees. I learned from the mayors. I learned about from the entrepreneurs, from the small business owners. It gave me learning. I learned a lot and gave me a perspective that I didn't get into when I was on community organization. So it helped me to grow, and I experienced and gained, gave me, I was a better director for the Carrefour and for Sortir du Bois also. But at the same time, I think I was able to raise awareness about the needs of the youth in the Pontiac and the youth that were seeking employment, and also to promote the importance of the community role in the community, which is very important. moi, j'ai apporté une vision, je pense, différente. J'ai apporté une vision qui venait du communautaire, puis je pense que c'était bien pour tout le monde. Donc, pour tout ça, ben, je vous remercie beaucoup. So, thank you very much. It's really an honor to receive this recognition. So, merci.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is a rather unexpected and sad one, and that is to recognize someone who many of us knew made a huge contribution and was very, very involved with the SADC and the MRC. And so it is with deep sadness that we announce the passing of Mario Gray, who passed away on Sunday, January 17th, 2021. Mario passed away peacefully at the Shawville Community Hospital after a brief battle with cancer. Mario started working at the SADC Pontiac in May 2016 as a business advisor in loans and financing. And he actually came out of retirement to take on what was going to be a short-term contract, but it soon extended into becoming a very permanent job. And he has built a legacy in economic development because he had worked 45 years in finance for multiple financial institutions, and some of these were Desjardins, Farm Credit Canada. And the SADC was very fortunate to have Mario, and the MRC was very fortunate to have the benefit of his services. And I would say he had a passion for financial analysis. And having been a member of the investment committee, I can say that we would look at many files, and he would always give us excellent advice. He had a great sense of humor as well, and he will be sadly missed by everyone at the SADC and those of us who knew him at the MRC. And he leaves a wife, Lynn Roy, their 5 children, grandchildren, and his 3 beloved dogs, and also his mother and a sister. And the SADC will be sharing more information about a memorial when they have the details. Now, at this point, I would like to also ask Emile Vallée, the chairperson of the investment committee, to say a few words.
Merci, Jane. Autant ça me faisait plaisir de parler de Sylvie, autant je suis malheureux de devoir parler de Mario à ce moment-ci. Mario, c'est un membre entier là, du comité d'investissement. Le comité n'aurait pas pu fonctionner sans la capacité d'analyse et puis le bon travail qu'il faisait pour nous. Mario, c'est un bonhomme qui était extrêmement appliqué, qui allait au fond des choses dans tous les dossiers qui lui étaient présentés, même si c'était des dossiers qui peut-être méritaient pas d'être acceptés. Mario faisait le travail jusqu'au bout. Mario aussi avait un jugement, non seulement sa capacité d'analyse était très forte, mais surtout pour le comité, il avait un jugement très fiable. Quand Mario nous disait qu'un projet méritait d'avancer, on pouvait fier que le projet méritait d'avancer. Mais Mario avait quelque chose de plus, je pense, qui était capable de transmettre au comité. Mario avait énormément d'empathie pour les promoteurs qui venaient le voir, pour les projets que les promoteurs lui soumettaient. Et puis Mario les défendait devant le comité. Mario, ça, les projets, c'était pas juste des morceaux de papier ou quoi que ce soit. C'était des individus, des personnes qui étaient derrière ces projets-là. Pour Mario, c'est ça qui comptait. Mario, on va s'ennuyer de toi énormément au comité.
Merci beaucoup pour ça. I would like to ask a mayor to, I think it would be very fitting for the MRC to move a resolution of sympathy and gratitude for the work that Mario Gay gave to the MRC through the SADC. And that would be moved by.
Jane, it's Donnie.
Thank you, Donnie.
I'd like to move it.
Thank you very much. Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor, and it will be recorded as unanimous. Thank you. Now I will go to my warden's report. It's a brief one, and partly because with Christmas, there were a few weeks where I did not have meetings. So my month started with an MRC staff Christmas lunch, which was done by Zoom. I had a meeting with the Western Quebecers in Shawville, a forestry meeting, a Zoom meeting with Gordon McKeever from Heritage College about wanting more information about the nursing school that Mayor Beauregard and other mayors are working on with our MRC CISO committee, where we hope to have a nursing school set up in the Pontiac. Had a couple of meetings with Matthew Lacombe, Committee of Investment, 2 pandemic meetings, which are where I'm with the other wardens and the MNAs and the Mamash and CISO. And it's basically, we had a meeting before the curfew and most recent restrictions were put in place. I had a CHIP interview, an obstetrics meeting. I attended the, by Zoom, Shaft Falls presentation on wildlife. We had a plenary meeting. We had an Ottawa River Waterway meeting. I had an interview with Jean-Sébastien Kevin, who's working on a university project. And that is it. And I just wanted to use this time to announce 2 things. The Lac Paul that had originally been scheduled for this month has been postponed to Saturday, February 13th. We're aiming for that date. And the main subject of this, the most important subject, will be forestry. Then March the 8th is the new date for originally February 8th for the MRC Forum, which people can register for to learn more about regional government. And that will begin at 7 o'clock. I'd like to now go to the announcements where each of the mayors, I'll call on you if you have any announcements to make, any interesting news or events in your municipalities. We'll start with Winston Sundstrom, Lilos Alumet.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Carl Mayer, Elena Kaywood.
Nothing to report.
Brantor, Bristol.
Nothing to report.
Alain Gagnon, Bryson.
Nothing besides stay home and stay safe.
We're all getting very good at that.
Yeah.
Morris Beauregard, Campbell's Bay.
Same
Nothing.
thing. COVID staying quiet.
Yes. Donald Gagnon, Chichester.
Nothing to report.
John Armstrong, Clarendon. John Armstrong, Clarendon.
Sorry, I was muted and I couldn't
That's all
find.
right.
Anyway,
We accept sign language.
I was trying that, but you weren't receiving, so
No,
nothing,
I wasn't getting it. That's right.
nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Debbie Laporte, Fort Collonge.
I just want to invite everybody to the new cafe downtown that we just had open. Pastry is just, if you guys want to lose weight, it is not the place to go. The coffee is exceptional. It's a very nice place, and I invite everyone to come and visit and have a little thing to eat. It's just fabulous.
Excellent. And it certainly has picked up the main street of Fort Collonge. Thank you. And that's Remy Bertrand's new restaurant. Thank you. Serge Newberry, L'Île de Grand Calumet.
Thank you, Jane. I'll say this in French because it's easier.
Sure.
Je voulais juste remercier Bernard puis l'équipe de la MRC pour le support apporté à ma municipalité pendant le redressement. Monsieur Boyer me dit que que l'équipe répond à beaucoup de demandes présentement, alors c'est bien apprécié. Puis, so that's it. I just wanted to thank Bernard and his team for helping my DG during.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Serge. Kim Cartier-Villeneuve, Otter Lake.
Nothing to report, Jane.
Okay. Gilles Dion, Mansfield et Pontefract.
Nothing to report this month.
Lynn Cameron, Portage de Fort.
Actually, we're planning a snowman contest, so the community, whoever so chooses, can build a snowman on their own property or down at either the park, towards the beach. It should be fun.
That's excellent. Good for you. Thank you very much. Jim Gibson, Rapide des Joachim.
Nothing to report.
Sandra Murray, Shawville.
We're still on COVID lockdown, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. Doris Ranger, Sheenborough.
Nothing to report.
Colleen LaRiviere, Litchfield.
Same, we're still on lockdown, so nothing to report.
Okay. Karen Kelly, Thorne.
Nothing to report, Jane. Thank you.
David Rochon, Waltham.
Nothing to report.
Okay, well, I can say one thing. I was just thinking, this is the most social I've been in a month. Just seeing all of your faces. This is the most interaction I've had. Okay, so now we go to questions from the public. And so the first one is from Pat Guyette. He has two questions. The first one was, he understood maybe there would be an announcement about Ren Maddox by the end of December. So the answer is no, there's nothing new to announce. And we also learned that actually the funding that they're applying for was not for 2020, but for 2021. His second question was whether there was something in the municipal code or relevant laws that oblige a mayor to vote at the MRC based on direction from the council in the local municipality. And so we did some research on this, and I have an answer. And so basically, there is nothing in the municipal code about this. And in fact, the only judgment exists on the issue that is cited by Quebec law confirms that the representative of the local municipality or council is not obliged to vote according to the will of the council. So if a mayor's council feels one way, the mayor can vote in a different way at the Council of Mayors. But it's understandable that many people would state the importance and relevance for a mayor as the representative of his or her municipality, the MRC, to consult and or seek approval from local council on various MRC issues, but it's not officially required. And so what I would say is that I believe that most, if not all mayors are bringing reports back from MRC meetings because it's a good governance. And we do encourage all members of the Mayor's Council to just communicate information from the MRC meetings to the municipalities so that it's one way of getting the word out to the residents of the Pontiac. So those are the two questions from Pat Guyette. Next, I will go to some other questions that we have. And actually these questions, first one was from Linda Lafortune. Are the agendas of meetings available prior to the meetings to members of council? And if so, how far ahead of meetings? And are they available online for the public to see? So the answer is members of the Regional Council of Mayors have access to the agendas of meetings in advance. The agenda prepared for the monthly ordinary sitting of council that takes place on the third Wednesday of each month, except in November, where the sitting is held on the last Wednesday because of budget, is generally available on the Friday prior to the Wednesday sitting the following week. This is also the case for the agenda of the TNO Council sitting. Work is underway to establish a process for the publication of the agendas of such sittings on the MRC website. We expect this to begin as early as next month. So it will not have all of the details, but it will at least show you what subjects are coming up. And then members of the public can look at the agenda and decide whether it interests them to tune into one of the meetings. So I think it's a very good positive step. We have some other questions that we're dealing directly with the CN corridor. And so we're going to actually answer those questions later in the agenda when we're talking about the CN corridor. And so I think that completes all of the questions. We had quite a few this month, which is great. So back to the agenda. We're on item 12, which is follow-up for COVID-19. And what I would like to just report on briefly is that we're continuing to do very well in the MRC Pontiac. Total in the RLS Pontiac of 61 cases. And in our Pontiac, we're at less than 5 active cases. It's probably about 1 at this point. And the most important news is, as we know, the vaccination started in the CHSLD 2 weeks ago. And then on the 19th, which was yesterday, the private FTF homes were begun. And it's not only the people living there, but it is also the workers. And you might remember that with the influenza shots, we had 11 municipalities as far as locations for administering to the public. It's different with the COVID-19. There will be 1 place, possibly 2, and it's to be decided, but probably Shawville, and possibly the second location would be Campbell's Bay or Fort Collonge, to be decided. This will be administered starting February 15th, and it will be 5 days of the week. They will be making use of retired personnel, and the CISO will help as well, and nurses. And just so that you know, we have approximately 20% of our population are considered seniors or elderly, but 80% of the people in hospital in Quebec are in that age group. And so that is why the priority is to begin with our elderly. So in the Pontiac, we have 600 people plus who are 80 and over. We have 2,000 who are between 70 and 80, and 3,000 between 60 and 70. And so that is the order that the vaccinations will be administered. They'll start February 15th, and it will take until September to complete this task. Any questions? I'll just continue to update you, the mayors. I'm going to ask Bernard just to add, is there anything you'd like to add about MRC operations, Bernard, through this period?
Yeah, I will add my voice to what said the elected officials. So I have nothing to mention other that the license bureau is still open from Monday to Friday, and employees are still working outside at home. That's all.
Any questions of Bernard about the MRC operations through COVID? Okay, thank you. 13.1, we're now in general administration, and we need a resolution for the MRC contributions to the CPO. Could I have someone move that resolution? Moved by Mayor Lariviere. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 13.2, the agreement of MRC Pontiac with the SPCA. It's the renewal of the contract. I need a resolution moved by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 13.3, this is a notice of motion for the notice of motion and draft bylaw 270-2021, which will be the date for the sale for taxes in 2021. Bernard Waugh.
Yeah, but the date is the next auction day will be the second Thursday of September 2021. So we need, for the moment, a notice of motion, and next month we will adopt the bylaw.
Okay. Can I just ask Travis, I cannot remember, do I need someone to move the notice of motion?
No.
We give, yeah.
Yes, I do, okay. So who would like to move it?
Lynn,
Moved by Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, that carries. 13.4, we need a resolution for the adoption of a bylaw 265-2020 for the remuneration of the warden and members of council. Bernard Waugh.
Yeah, a resolution. It's about the remuneration of the warden and the elected official for year 2021. We already gave a notice of motion in last November, so today it's the adoption. We need a resolution for that.
Okay, moved
I
by
will.
Mayor
I will.
Karen Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries.
And
Go on.
this sorry, Jane, and this
Yeah.
bylaw is retroactive to January the 1st, 2021.
Okay, thank you very much. Finances, Annie Vinecore.
Yeah, again, just like the TNO, we have an income statement at December 31st, which is not quite all yet for the year. We still have adjustments to make. In our accounts receivables right now, we're at $1,094,115.77. Most of that comes from the loans that go out to entrepreneurs in the Pontiac from our economic development department. And then there's just a small portion that are other invoices that are to be received. In our accounts to be paid, right now, the amount is $137,962.36. Last month are totaling $9,006.
Annie, we're having a bit of difficulty hearing you. Maybe your internet's a bit unstable at the moment. Do you want, if you can just repeat your totals, those amounts again, hopefully we'll hear you.
Yes.
Or maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The bills to be paid are $137,962.36.
Okay, we got it.
And bills paid in the last month, $199,646.51.
Okay, excellent. We got that. Any questions of Annie Vinecore on that? Could I have a resolution to move the financial statement moved by?
I will, Sandra.
Okay, Mayor Sandra Murray. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Okay, we'll go on to economic development, the 2021-2023 Cultural Development Agreement, a resolution. Cindy Phillips.
Yes, good evening. The Ministry of Culture and Communications requires a commitment via resolution regarding our financial contribution for the new 3-year agreement. These figures are based on the financial contribution by the MCC and the 40-60 split granted to the MRC Pontiac, as well as the cultural sectoral agreement. The minimum amounts to be contributed are accounted for over the next 3-year period. So you have a resolution before you that the MRC Pontiac invest a minimum amount of $61,900 for the next 3-year period for the cultural development agreement for 2021 to 2023.
Any questions of Cindy? Okay, seeing none, could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Pro Warden Cartier-Villeneuve. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.2, the MAPAC Biofood Sectoral Agreement. Cindy Phillips.
Yes, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food is proposing a sectoral agreement with all of the MRCs of the Outaouais and partners for the creation of a common fund steered by a steering committee, which will study funding projects that meet the priorities of local, superlocal, and regional communities. The Table Agroalimentaire de l'Outaouais was designated as the trustee for the agreement. So you have a resolution before you proposing that the MRC Pontiac participate in this agreement with annual financial assistance over the 3-year period totaling $45,000 for 2021 to 2023, which will come from component 2 of the Regions and Rurality Fund.
Okay, very good. Any questions on that? Could I have a resolution, please, to move it? Moved by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. 15.3, recommendations, donations, and sponsors. Cindy Phillips.
Yes, we have run one recommendation coming from the Economic Development Department to award a donation of $500 to the Downtown Life Committee at Rapide du Joachim to support their kids' party time activity to be held on the 10th of July, 2021.
Okay, any questions or comments? Hopefully they'll be able to have that. We have a resolution to move it. Moved by
Forrest.
Okay, John Armstrong had his hand up, so all those in favor, opposed, and that carries. We go on to management of territory, number 16. 16.1, the bylaw 269-2021, Public Consultation and Off-Highway Vehicles Act highlights. This is for information, Alexandre and Cindy.
Bonjour à tous et toutes. Hello everyone. Donc, je vais vous présenter ce soir rapidement là, les grandes lignes du rapport de consultation publique qui a été préparé. Donc, ce rapport sera disponible sur le site web de la MRC de Pontiac. So tonight we will be having highlights of the public consultation report that will be available on the Regional County Municipality website in a couple of days. So these are the main concerns that we heard from people. 22 citizens wrote to us in the consultation period that ran from December 17th to January 10th of this year. Donc, il y a 22 personnes qui nous ont écrit là, durant la période de consultation écrite qui se déroulait du 17 décembre au 10 janvier. Okay, so first element of concern was regarding noise from snowmobiles or ATVs, and also maybe some modified exhaust on some machines that could also amplify the noise heard on a corridor or near dwellings. Donc, la première préoccupation concernait le bruit. Donc, il y a quelques personnes là, qui ont mentionné que la proximité avec les résidences pouvait occasionner du bruit en provenance des motoneiges et des VTT là, qui circulent sur des terrains privés ou encore sur un corridor dédié.
And what I will do tonight is I will, at the same time, when we speak about each concern, I will just reference some of the excerpts from Bill 71 or other relevant control measures that might speak to some of the concerns that have been raised by our citizens. And so regarding noise, I won't read all of this, I'll just highlight a couple of points. Under subsection 4, which speaks to the protection of natural environments and environmental quality, all operators shall take care not to inconvenience other users and neighbors of the premises where the vehicle is being operated, including noise, dust, smoke, excessive light, or odors. And it also speaks specifically in section 2 to exhaust systems under subsection 5. Under Article 63, it basically states that any vehicle must be equipped with an exhaust system in good working order, and it stipulates that no modifications to the exhaust systems can be done, and that people cannot sell modified equipment. And I'm just going to skip down under section 1, subsection 2, which speaks to speed and careful driving. Under Article 28, the driver of a vehicle shall ensure that he or she maintains control of the vehicle at all times. And there's a number of clauses under there. The same level of courtesy and caution is required for those using the vehicle in the vicinity of legally developed trails. They will avoid by their behavior surprising or forcing drivers to perform evasive maneuvers. And it stipulates that neighbors of legally developed trails are required to accept the inconveniences resulting from the circulation of vehicles in compliance with the applicable legislative and regulatory standards.
Thank you.
Donc, le prochain aspect, ça concerne la sécurité. Donc, notamment là, la question du respect, donc les traverses entre le corridor du CN et dans le fond, les chemins locaux. So the second element was regarding safety concerns about every crossing, whether it's a street, a road, or a farm lane sometimes, as well as high speed that are currently performed on local roads or trails, which is not necessarily specific to the draft bylaw on the table.
Okay, so just to highlight a few points under this section, under subsection 2, which again speaks to speed and careful driving. Under Article 39, it states that the maximum speed of a snowmobile shall be 70 kilometers an hour, and the maximum speed of other vehicles shall be 50 kilometers an hour. But then it also goes on to say that within 100 meters of a dwelling, the speed is reduced to no greater than 50 kilometers an hour. And where traffic is permitted within 30 meters of a dwelling, no vehicle shall travel at a speed greater than 30 kilometers an hour. And again, it stipulates under Article 41 that every driver shall comply with any provision of the Highway Safety Code.
Okay, so next issue was regarding parking. We heard concerns, especially from Pontiac Station residents, that there's quite a lot of traffic for a local dead-end road, and some concerns have been raised regarding fire safety for fire trucks to access the Ottawa River, where they can take water in case of an emergency, and also regarding people who would park pickup trucks or trailers on that road. So this is more a matter of a municipal jurisdiction. We forwarded the concerns to the Bristol municipality in this case, and the municipality will look at the options available. Donc, le troisième enjeu, ça concerne le stationnement. Alors, pour les résidentes de Pontiac Station, il y a des gens qui nous ont fait part qu'il y a beaucoup de trafic là, de véhicules hors route et également de gens qui pourraient être tentés d'utiliser le chemin pour stationner leur camionnette ou encore leur remorque là, pour accéder à la piste de l'ancien corridor du CN. Alors, ça, c'est vraiment une question là, de règlement local de Bristol dans ce cas-là, là, donc concernant le règlement local sur le stationnement et le règlement local sur l'utilisation des chemins locaux par les VTT ou les motoneiges. Alors, on a transféré cette requête à la municipalité de Bristol qui va l'analyser dans les prochaines semaines, selon les informations qu'on a. Next element is regarding biodiversity. The possible impacts on wildlife as well as plants and their habitats. People were concerned regarding mortality rates or also habitat fragmentation. We also heard these concerns from Nature Conservancy Canada, which is a non-for-profit organization that has some properties in the area. Donc, le quatrième élément là, concerne la biodiversité. Donc, il y a quelques personnes qui nous ont fait part d'impact au niveau de la faune et la flore, liées à l'utilisation plus accrue là, de motoneige ou de VTT sur le corridor dans des endroits qui sont écologiquement d'importance. Et également, l'organisme Conservation de la Nature au Canada nous a fait part de cette préoccupation, puisque l'organisme a des propriétés dans le secteur pour protéger et mettre en valeur la biodiversité locale. Voilà.
Okay. So just very briefly to speak towards this section. In section 1, subsection 4, we speak to the protection of natural environments and environmental quality. There are several articles that speak to this. It states that the operator of vehicles and passengers shall take care not to inconvenience and include not causing noise, dust, smoke, excessive light, or odors. They shall avoid doing anything that would disturb the peace and quiet of the natural environment, disturb the behavior of wildlife, interfere with the flow of water, or interfere with the interaction between animals and plants and their habitat. And in particular, they are prohibited from the following: of frightening, chasing, mutilating, or killing an animal with the vehicle or otherwise, and prohibited from throwing or abandoning any object or waste. So this section, of course, is notwithstanding any other environmental policies or laws in place.
Okay. Next element is regarding the non-motorized uses or snowmobile use only. Some people would prefer that the corridor would be used for walking, cycling, or in wintertime cross-country skiing or snowshoeing, or as well as maybe having the corridor only for snowmobiles for a period of 4 months instead of 12 months to reduce nuisances. Donc, on a eu des gens qui nous ont proposé d'utiliser le corridor plutôt pour des fins de sport actif, donc marche, vélo, ski de fond et la raquette l'hiver, ou encore de l'utiliser seulement pour la motoneige, donc pendant la saison d'hiver, en fait, de décembre à mars, donc pour 4 mois plutôt que 12, afin de réduire les nuisances, notamment du bruit là, durant la nuit.
Yes, I've just made several points here concerning the fact that, you know, we are very fortunate here in the Pontiac to have access to many beautiful, safe, and well-maintained trails for non-motorized travel. And it's important that we keep in mind to strike a balance between active and passive transportation, which I think is what the efforts are being made here. And that allowing snowmobiles and ATVs to operate within a regulated corridor reduces unwanted travel outside of that corridor and allows us to ensure the safety and security and regulatory control over the activities that take place.
The next item regards farms. So a couple of farmers wrote to us regarding some farm lanes, and some farms are on both sides of the corridor, so people have to cross for the corridor for farming purposes or livestock crossing, or as well as equipment crossing. So there are a couple of safety issues regarding the lack of visibility in some areas. Bushes might hinder the visibility, as well as sometimes ATVs on farmlands that actually destroy some crops that are produced. Donc, une préoccupation du secteur agricole. Donc, quelques personnes nous ont écrit concernant les propriétés agricoles qui sont des deux côtés du corridor du CN. Donc, les agriculteurs ou agricultrices sont parfois souvent à traverser le corridor pour mener à bien les opérations, ainsi que le bétail qui peut être appelé à traverser dans certains cas, ainsi que l'équipement agricole. Donc, ça cause des enjeux de responsabilité civile et de sécurité, là, notamment la visibilité dans certains endroits plus boisés ou avec des buissons là, qui pourraient cacher la visibilité. Et également là, les VTT qui parfois circulent sans autorisation sur les fermes et qui peuvent détruire certaines récoltes. Donc, c'est des préoccupations qu'on a reçues.
So I just want to make a few points under Chapter 3, Section 1. First of all, regarding speed and careful driving. All drivers of the vehicles are required to reduce the speed of his vehicle to adapt it to the circumstances, which would take into consideration, among other things, traffic density and the presence of bends or slopes that make it more difficult to anticipate difficulties. And the same is true in places where visibility is reduced and at intersections that cannot be seen.
Okay, donc, le prochain point, ça concerne la responsabilité civile, l'entretien, la réglementation et le respect de la réglementation. Donc, plusieurs personnes nous ont mentionné là, que c'était un enjeu qui, dans le fond, qui était assez important à mettre, en tout cas, à s'occuper, à mettre de l'avant. Il y a déjà actuellement là, des utilisations illégales du corridor et donc il y aura probablement là, un respect de la réglementation qui devra se faire appliquer là, effectivement. So, the next item regards liability, maintenance of the corridor, maintenance of the bylaw, actually. Maintenance of the corridor, sorry, regulation and enforcement of the bylaw. Some people have concerns regarding civil liability, as well as maintenance of the corridor, culverts maintenance, among other things. So all these elements will have to be considered by the leaseholder and the owner in order for the use to be properly used and respected according to our bylaw.
Just to touch on some of the corresponding points in Bill 71. Firstly, under Section 3 of Public Liability Insurance, the owner of an off-road vehicle must hold public liability insurance policy covering compensation for bodily injury and property damage which may be caused by the vehicle. The same applies to the owner of a maintenance vehicle, which will be used on the trails. Chapter 3, Section 5 speaks in Article 88 that every off-road vehicle user club shall develop, mark, and maintain the trails it operates. So the onus is on the club for the maintenance of the trails. Every club that develops or operates a trail shall purchase a liability insurance policy in an amount set by regulation by the government. So not only do the users have liability, but the clubs must also hold liability policies. Under Chapter 5, Control Measures and Inspections, it speaks towards, for the purposes of this act, the following are trail patrol officers, and it describes those. And any peace officer may act as an inspector to verify the application of this act. So by peace officer, that's a police officer. Further down under subsection 2, which speaks to speed and careful driving, again, the provisions of the Highway Safety Code are applicable.
The next item is regarding signage. So people require that adequate signage is posted on the trails, including the farmer lanes crossings at various areas. So whether we could install maybe stop signs or yielding sign or warning signs at these farming lanes. Donc, la signalisation, il y a des gens qui nous ont mentionné là, que ça devrait être bien installé et effectivement là, que peut-être porter une attention particulière aux traverses agricoles, que ce soit par l'installation soit de panneaux d'arrêt, de panneaux d'avertissement de danger, de traverses agricoles ou encore de panneaux pour céder le passage aux gens qui pratiquent l'agriculture.
So section 4 of chapter 3 speaks towards signage for trails and other traffic areas, specifically under Article 81, which states standards for the manufacture and installation of signs for a trail are established by the minister, that's the Ministry of Transportation, and set out in a publication which is prepared by the Department of Transportation. These standards are not subject to the Regulations Act. Every user club responsible for the development and operation of trails shall comply with these standards for the manufacture and installation of the signs. The club shall also ensure that the signage is maintained throughout the period of use of a trail it operates, and where necessary, repair or replace destroyed or damaged signage.
Donc, ça fait le tour là, dans le fond, les éléments principaux du rapport de consultation publique. This is the overview of the public consultation report that will be available on our website as mentioned earlier tonight.
Day 2, is that everything? I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but there had been a request by the Bristol Council to allow further consultation, and it is my understanding that we will continue to receive any questions or comments, and we will also be continuing to address any concerns, correct, Alex and Cindy? Okay, thank you very much. That was very concise and clear.
Jean,
Now I've got I was going to go to the
Is-
e-questions, but did you want to say something about the information we just heard, John? Go ahead.
Yes, my question is this being expected to pass tonight?
Are we going to be voting on the bylaw tonight? Yes.
Well, I would like to state before that, first of all, I'd like to thank Alex and Cindy for preparing this. It's a lot of the concerns that both Bristol and Clarendon have had. I'm not too sure about the other two municipalities involved, but we have had many requests, and a lot of them went up to Alex, which is great. The concern that I would have, and I would hope if I could have the mayor's attention just for a few minutes, in looking at 16.1, which we're at now, and if you go into the number 2, I very much appreciated what was said. The Quebec bylaw, Bill 71, highlights in our iPads, states, the first sentence states that the purpose of this act is to ensure public safety by regulating the use of all off-road vehicles. And this is what I would like to say. That is exactly what the feeling of our farmers and others that live on this corridor, and I'm sure the Skidoo Club also. Before the bill moves forward, we need to meet with the representatives from the club and have a written agreement, and the municipalities on the corridor would be happy to meet with the club and have a written agreement to place in a place to bring to a future planning meeting. It sounds very good that all this is in place, but if you don't have a signature on that, I'll give you an example of our municipality, and probably others are the same. Skidoo clubs have been using some of our areas for many years, but each year they come and they show with written support that they are going to look after all signage, look after everything that's there, and they don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with bringing it here before we even discuss it with them and going to pass it here. I don't see how you can pass something that isn't already in agreement with both parties. I would suggest that this be put off until more we get talking with the club and get them in agreement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, John. I'm going to turn to Cindy, but Cindy, I'll ask you a question. John's points are very valid. It's my understanding that by moving forward with the bylaw, there are still many things such as these meetings that have to take place. Isn't that correct? And that the bylaw approval does not mean that the corridor can be used yet in the way that we're anticipating. So Cindy?
Yes, that's correct. There are many steps that still have to take place. This is sort of not the first step, but we are a few steps in. But what this means by passing this bylaw tonight, this triggers a few processes. First of all, Alexandre will continue in his planning process by which he now sends this regulation to the ministry for their approval, which is a process that probably takes somewhere in around 2 months' time. During that time, we will certainly be in discussions with the snowmobile club that currently holds the lease along the CN corridor. There will be conversations with the landowner, the CN rail as well. There will be discussions with neighboring clubs. There's a whole bunch of work to be done after this step takes place tonight. It will be months before regulated vehicle traffic is seen along the corridor.
Cindy, I realize that, but what I'm suggesting is, why does this need to get passed tonight? There's so many steps that need to be done. We haven't met with the Skidoo Club, and I think the municipalities that this corridor is going through need to also be involved with the concerns of the people that live in our area. So I still fail to see why this needs to be passed tonight. Go ahead and get all our steps in place, and then we move it with acceptance from both clubs and the municipalities and the MRC.
That's my feeling too. We should schedule a meeting with the major players and try to sell it a little better, other than just push it through.
Well, Cindy, I think you've already addressed the concerns. So you have two mayors who are making that request. This is new information since our plenary meeting because both mayors said they didn't have a problem with it a week ago. So what I'd like to do is just go to the—
Excuse me, Joanne. Excuse me, Jane.
Yes, John.
We said we did not have a problem when everything was put in place.
Okay.
That means that means that the Skidoo Club and everyone that is aware is involved, and we're in an agreement with them. That's what we meant, and okay. I don't see anything wrong with that statement.
No, I'm just saying it's new information for us tonight. I'd like to take a break and at least answer the questions that we were saving that are about this issue. Kathy Collins and Robert Collins said, can you assure us that access to the CN corridor at or through Pontiac Station will not be permitted until decisions on draft bylaw 269/2021 are finalized and associated regulations are in place together with a bypass around the community? The answer is access is not permitted along the corridor at this time, according to the current interim control bylaw in place. A bypass of Pontiac Station is not under consideration at this time. Tom Anderson asked what tourism and or benefit is derived from snowmobiles using the PQ rail bed? And Cindy, could you answer that question, please?
Sure. There are many economic benefits to snowmobile and ATV use, certainly, but in short order, I would say that specifically along this corridor, it will provide a connection to our neighboring county. It can provide us a connection to our neighbors in Ontario and allow them to access our wonderful trail network here in the Pontiac. It can connect this same market to our tourism operators, such as outfitters and lodges, restaurants, service stations, etc. And additionally, and perhaps most importantly, the corridor regulated allows us control, monitoring, and safety insurance for our users and for our residents.
Excellent. And then the same question, could you outline the same, or I guess all that information also applies to the 4x4s?
Yes.
But although currently 4x4s have had more limited access to trails in the Pontiac, and so this gives them that same opportunity to help our ATV network, not using the PPJ, but instead having the ability to go to another county and another province, as you were saying. And then
Dane, I'm not sure where you're going with this, but
I'm answering the questions, John.
Yes, but why don't we, I would just appreciate the mayors when it goes to the vote, that they would realize in their own municipalities the same thing that would be happening there. And I just feel that at this time, I would like a vote to go, and whatever way the mayors vote, that's a decision. But I would like that vote to take place.
Right. Well, it will after I finish answering the questions. Does MRC support? Well, these are members of the public, John, who are waiting to hear the answers. So as you recall, I should have done it at the beginning of the meeting, but because this is on this particular subject, I have delayed it while we're talking about this subject. Does MRC support a preferred option of a bypass around Pontiac Station? The answer is a bypass of Pontiac Station is not under consideration at this time. Will MRC support only snowmobile use of CN corridor as suggested by Conservancy? The answer is the proposal is to allow both snowmobiles from December to March and summer quads from April to November. Next question, can we ensure that Pontiac Station Road is not used as an access to the corridor? The answer that was given is that we suggest you contact Bristol Municipality to this matter, as this is a local power because of parking bylaw and off-highway vehicles on municipal roads bylaw. And Kempton Matt had a question, and his was very much like this last question, and the answer too is, again, we suggest contacting Bristol Municipality to this matter, as this is a local power parking bylaw off-highway vehicles on municipal roads bylaw. Okay, so the next, so that's questions, and we have had the staff presentation. So we're now going to, I have a question, Cindy. The reason the resolution is before us tonight is because it is time sensitive, correct? For the plans from the Snowmobile Association, is that right?
That is one fact, but I would also say that I guess a lot of the questions and agreements and answers that we're going to seek from the users, the user clubs, I should say, of the trail, the snowmobile associations and the ATV clubs, the things that we are going to ask of them, they are mandated to comply by law.
And if anything, before the trail was being used with no laws in place or guidelines or restrictions. So anyways, okay, so 16.3 is the resolution.
Jane?
Yes, Colleen.
Seeing that you have a few mayors that have some concerns and that have more, they have some more answers, they'd like more answers. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring it back to the next plenary if it doesn't delay things too much. I think that if they're asking questions, I think they're warranted some answers. I don't know if it would be a big deal to do that, but I think it might be a good idea.
Oh, I know it's a good idea, but also I know there are other mayors who are very excited about this opportunity for the Pontiac.
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's a great idea, but like I said, if we have questions, maybe they should be answered more completely. That's all. And it's a great project. But.
Mm-hmm. I would have appreciated a heads up about this from a couple of mayors before the meeting, because as we left the meeting last week, I was under the understanding that definitely the majority of mayors were very excited about proceeding. How did the other mayors feel? Would you like, first of all, just a moment. Excuse me, I have the chair. Cindy, if this is delayed for another month, is there any chance that we will not be able to proceed with the arrangement that we have? Does it prevent us from still being able to use that corridor with the access to Ontario?
I don't think so.
Okay, so would your advice be that we would delay for another month and have it go back to plenary?
That is not my decision to make.
I know.
Respectfully.
But you're the one that knows the circumstances in terms of, how this opportunity to change from rail corridor to recreo tourism came about. So are there any other mayors that would like to speak on this, or does everyone just want to agree that we will defer until the next, we'll take this back to the next plenary meeting?
Jane, I was wondering if it was possible to maybe have a special meeting on this within the next 2 weeks, and that would push it ahead a lot quicker than waiting for another month.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Would you be in favor of that, Mayor Armstrong and Mayor Orr, to have a special meeting in a couple of weeks on this? That way, I think that on mute. John,
the players should be involved with the landowners.
I I agree with Brent. I don't see, I don't know what Jim is suggesting, whether he's talking a public meeting, but I think what we would like to see.
Not a public meeting, John, sorry.
No,
just
but
special.
what we would like to see are, you know, and first of all, I just want to make it clear, both municipalities of Clarendon and Bristol are very much in favor of this project going ahead. Our concerns are that signage needs to be done properly. The stop sign is going to be where the farmers cross for years. All these things need to be in place. And if we can meet with the head of the snowmobile club, I'm sure Brent and I would be willing to sit on the committee with Alexander and whoever else and meet with their head and come up with an agreement and a signed paper. It probably would. They're very easy to work with. We've worked with them for years, and it's just, we just like to see it done properly, that nobody's going to be held liable in any way that with travel on it, and the corridor could go ahead. That's all we're asking for.
Okay, that's certainly valid, John. And I think that, I think Cindy was explaining to us that all of this is going to take place because it has to. There's a lot that needs to be ironed out still. We were just going to take the first step towards, we are lifting the interim control bylaw on keeping it as future rail use only and changing it to recreo tourism. That's what the bylaw was asking for. So just to make the decision that now we want to use it for recreation and tourism, and there's still all of those important details that will be ironed out because they have to be, or we won't be able to allow the activity.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Jane, if I could just say something.
Yes, Kim.
Just so I understand correctly, so we actually, the MRC actually needs government approval, right? Correct? Before we even have any conversations with the clubs or.
Yes, it has to be approved by the province. You're right.
And
Right.
Cindy did mention that that could take approximately 2 months, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So really there's lots of time, you know, it may sound rushed now, but it really is not. It's just taking the step to change the use from future rail to recreo tourism. And we all know that would be good for economic development in the Pontiac and tourism. And that's why Alexandre summarized all of those points that John and Brent are concerned about, that they've been hearing about from their residents. It's all documented. And we are going to, you know, we should really have like a subcommittee, including John Armstrong and Brent Orr, who would be in conversation with the snowmobile clubs, with the ATV clubs and farmers, and, you know, get all of that ironed out. Because it's very much a local issue for them because it is going through their municipalities. It's going through Portage de Fort as well. Lynn, Cameron, do you have anything that you're concerned about, or did you want to add anything?
It actually is a very short span for Portage.
In Portage. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Got it. Well,
And
yes,
Jane,
John.
if I may add, as far as, you know, we have to get government approval, but we could, with Alex and whatever, we could certainly meet with the Skidoo Club before that. We could have that all in place, that we're ready to go whenever they give us permission from the government.
Okay, but do you have a problem with just lifting the use of railway and making it recreo tourism? That's all we're doing tonight. And then all the rest of the concerns have to be ironed out, and we can start, you'll have lots of time to do that. Such as meeting with Snowmobile Club and everything else. You know, I believe that that's the case for certain. It should tighten up a lot Jane,
Jane,
yes, Lynn?
But actually, it's not going to slow anything down by not having passed tonight, is it? It's really not slowing anything down. We can proceed ahead because there's many things to be done. So anyway, that's enough. I've said enough about it. Thank you.
Okay, Winston, did you want to speak?
Yes, back to Jim Gibson's suggestion.
Yes.
Even if we take 2 weeks to form that committee and get an agenda for that committee, we could still have a special meeting by the end of January, early February.
Yes, and then,
It
and
wouldn't take very
vote
long.
on
It
it
wouldn't take
then,
very long.
Winston, and vote on it then, once we've ironed everything out.
Well, yeah,
Okay, I think that's a good suggestion. You know, this is something that would be nice to have a unanimous vote on. And so we're not asking for a whole month delay. We could wait 2 more weeks and have a special meeting then. Bernard, could that be arranged? A special meeting? Yes, just on this. Okay, and Brent, or does that satisfy your concerns? Can't hear you.
We'll have more time to get back to the people adjacent to the trail. Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right. Could I have a resolution then to have a special, to defer adoption of the bylaw tonight for a special meeting that will be held, tonight is the 20th of January, so we could look at perhaps 2 weeks, which is February the 3rd. Is that correct? February
Yes. Yes.
happens to be my birthday. Okay, perfect.
Don't forget to bring a cake.
I might jump out of it. Okay, perfect. So that's, who will move that? I guess maybe John Armstrong should move it because he's the one that held the issue. John, would you like to move that resolution?
I'll move that. Sure.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. You know, in the end, as Colleen Lariviere was pointing out, it's very important to listen to the mayors who are most affected. Thank you.
What time would that meeting be at, Jane?
Well, it'll be by Zoom. What would be a good time for everybody? Early evening, then it doesn't cut into work schedules. Yes, so we'll plan it for maybe about 6 p.m. or say 6:30. Okay,
Perfect.
good. So Bernard and Travis will look after that. Thank you very much. Good collaboration. 16.4 is a resolution, Jason Durant, and it's to do with the sand and gravel, please.
All right, folks. All right, now for a lighter subject. As you know, the MRC Pontiac exercised powers and responsibilities with respect to certain land rights and management of sand and gravel operations. And this is according to the terms defined in the delegation agreement currently in effect. However, the MERN has entered into an agreement in principle with the FQM and the UMQ, providing mainly for the deployment of a new delegation program, so to replace the one that's currently in effect. So in order to benefit from the terms of this new program, a resolution of the MRC Council is required in order to begin the process of signing a new delegation agreement. And in addition to that, in the same resolution, it will be possible to request the minister's authorization to sub-delegate to the MRC Pontiac the exercise of powers and responsibilities through an intermunicipal agreement in the event that the MRC Pontiac agrees with the MRC des Collines to continue the sub-delegation currently in effect. So I need a resolution, actually in the same resolution, these two, can I say demand actually?
Okay, thank you. You can. Moved by Mayor Dion. Mayor Dion was first. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. Now we go on to miscellaneous. 17.1, Internet with the CFP, Bernard Waugh.
Yeah, just to inform you that Connexion FIP-Canox, so CFP is working in order to also table the internet project for federal funding. The deadline is February 15, 2021. And for that, we need the support of community, or the community, so municipalities, institutions, businesses, and we will need a lot of support. I have the help for that of Colleen Jones. Thank you, Colleen. And we also plan to organize a Zoom session to present this project before tabling it February 15th. So maybe in the next week or 2 weeks, If someone, we will invite the mayors as we did the last time. But if someone else is interested in that, just let us know, and we will invite people to join this presentation by our pilot. That's all.
Excellent. Really great. And thank you for ensuring that that application was done, Bernard, because it certainly gives us the maximum opportunity for funding, either CRTC or this. So that was just for information. We don't need to vote. We're going to another item for information where I believe Mayor Beauregard would like to speak about SHQ.
Yes, this is an information point again, Jane. I'm going to bring it back with a motion next month, but I just wanted to fill it in, all the mayors, that I'm going to ask support of the mayors to have the MRC sit down and work on a draft project with us to ensure that our SHQ inspector from the MRC works better with our municipal inspectors, so we know what's going on within our municipalities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. 17.3 trans call in. Morris, you have a resolution?
Yeah, again, if we can open it, I can read the resolution.
Okay.
So just in short, I was contacted by a member of my community who has traveled for almost 30 years on the buses to Ottawa to work every day. And she's just been blindsided by being told that now she cannot make it to Ottawa to work. She has to take a bus from Aylmer, which doesn't work properly with her schedule. She won't make it back in time to Aylmer to catch a bus. So this motion tonight is asking that Transcall Inc. considers reinstating the run 910 directly back down to Ottawa for the people who work downtown. It'll enable them to get to work still like they have in the past.
Okay. I've also had a number of people asking me about it, and I think that just to mention, we do have another partner. It's the municipality of Pontiac. So I think this is a good resolution. Thank you, Mayor Beauregard. And we'll probably have it back at plenary with some answers. So you're moving that then, Mayor Beauregard? Okay.
Sorry. So it says, whereas since January 4th, 2021, the service of integrational route 148 integrated into the City of Gatineau's public transit service with the brand new line 910. Whereas the bus on the new route 910 will no longer run directly downtown Ottawa. Whereas riders wishing to travel Ottawa will have to disembark at the Parco bus des Alametières to take on one of the STO routes, in addition to having, in many cases, to transfer the OC Transpo route in order to get to their destination. Whereas this change in service is causing delay, and now some riders in the Pontiac region will no longer be able to get to work on time. Therefore, it was moved by and resolved by Resolution 01801-2021 of the Council Municipality of Campbell's Bay to request Transcall in to review the schedule of bus route 910 in order to continue direct service downtown Ottawa for government employees coming from this region. Thank you.
Okay. So moved by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. We'll go on to the last item on the agenda, 17.4, support of the Biopark project. Brent Orr has a resolution.
Yes, over the last few months, this has been talked about a lot. So after the comments of Will Amos last week, I thought maybe we'd put something together and get the feeling of the 18 municipalities. So I'll just read through it there, if that's all right. Considering the process of the feasibility study for an integrated biomass conversion center at the Litchfield Industrial Biopark, considering a partnership with Fiber Pontiac, Renmatics, Forespect, Abritech, NRC, and CanMed Energy to evaluate the feasibility of an integrated biorefinery as a pyrolysis production unit to produce the following bioproducts: high quality crystalline cellulose, lining, pyrrolose oil, biochar, bioenergy. Considering the federal initiative's potential use for forest sector residue as a source of energy for local consumption, as well as for a network of federal government buildings in the National Capital Region. Considering biomass has been chosen as a key fuel source to replace currently used fossil fuels. Considering the NRC and CanMed Energy has completed 4 phases of a 7-phase feasibility study. Considering that the remaining phases of the feasibility study will be completed in 2021, 2022, considering to date the federal government has invested over $500,000 in the biopark project. Therefore, it is moved and resolved to firmly support the biopark project at the Regional Industrial Park, which guarantees the sustainable development of forestry throughout the territory of the MRC Pontiac, which will be made possible by the implementation of a solid industrial structure focused on the production of bioproducts that meet local and global consumption. It is further resolved to send a copy of the resolution to Ren Maddox, Pontiac MNA, Mr. Andre Fortin, MP for Pontiac, Mr. Will Amos, the Minister responsible for the Outaouais region, Mr. Matthew Lacombe, and the Ministry of Economic and Innovation, Mr. Pierre Fitzgibbon, the Ministry of Forest, Wildlife and Parks, Mr. Pierre Dufour, and the Minister of Natural Resources of Canada, Mr. Seamus O'Regan. It is also resolved to forward this resolution to our 18 municipalities for endorsement and support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
If I may, Jane, it's just a support for Brent's resolution. I sit where I live is right on the highway, and I see tree lengths going by here every day, and this doesn't affect sawmills. It's wood that's basically going to chip and whatever. And I think of the truckers, the people that work in the bush, that's their profession. To have that staying here with a situation like what we'd have with Remitech, I think it would be just a wonderful thing for our area. And I can say a little on a personal side. I've worked with pretty much every municipality people at the paper mill the length of time I was there. And in talking to them now, many of them are going by here at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, heading to Hull, Gatineau, Ottawa, or going across the river to other areas. And they all said it'd be just beautiful to be able to come back to in the local area where we've always worked. And I really do support this, and I think it's something that was just going to do the economy, everything, do it very well to have this go ahead. And I would certainly support this in every way.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to say, it's Sandra. I would like to say that I think we need to keep this project moving forward, and we don't want to let it die. We need to keep it alive. So I support Brent's motion.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Jane, as well, I'll put in again, sorry. I support Brent's resolution again for the simple fact that a lot of work has been done on this project. We have a solid base ready to move forward, and I think it would help to vitalize our communities, neighboring, and the whole Pontiac. Thank you.
Okay.
Jane, can I make a comment? It's Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, my comment is every morning in the last couple of weeks, I'm going up by Queensboro and I see all these trucks hauling, and there's 7 or 8 of them at a time, and all that wood is going out of the Pontiac. So that's why I support, and it's new technology. I think it's we have to support it.
Can I add something, Jane?
Sure.
Like I said before, I did state that that was an MRC project that we've been working on for a little while. Yeah, we should keep it alive for sure. On the money aspect, when that goes ahead, it's going to positively impact all our tax base. And if we could have the 18 mayors in favor of this, that would show that we're serious about economic development and that we're open for business. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak, Jane.
Yes, Lynn.
Okay, so I'm understanding then that this project is guaranteed to be at the industrial park. We won't be putting money into something that is not going to be here in the Pontiac. Can someone answer that question, that it's guaranteed to actually be here so that our workers or whomever else are going to be working here?
I'll offer an answer. The biopark is research and development, and it's the federal government that has invested so far over $500,000. They invested it in what the studies they're doing, the feasibility studies they're doing it in the Pontiac for the Pontiac forests. So when the biopark comes, it will come to the Pontiac because that's where the studies are being done for. Red Maddox and the biopark are two different projects, two different things. So it's just to understand that the biopark is the money that is coming is from the federal, and the feasibility study is being done in the Pontiac. So it's not going to go anywhere else but at the industrial park.
I have one concern, and there's been a bit of a pattern the last two meetings, and that is that resolutions are just coming out of nowhere and they're just arriving at our public meeting and we're not brought to plenary. And I want that practice to stop. This isn't time sensitive, and I think we received something first of all from Brent on Friday, and then it got changed yesterday by Winston. And the thing is, it doesn't give us a chance to have a good discussion. So from now, I wish this could go back to plenary because I do have some questions. And one question I have is, have we seen the result of the feasibility study that was done? Have we seen?
Mrs. Toller, you have received the two presentations on the feasibility study. One was done on October 23rd, if I recall the date, and the other one was done not that long ago to the table of mayors. There are reports. The reports are available, and if you don't have them, we'll make sure you get them.
No, I have that information. I didn't see the information I was looking for. But anyways, the point is from now on, so that we can have good discussions and questions can be answered. That's the purpose of plenary. And so I, in the future, will not be accepting resolutions the day before the meeting that haven't been first aired at plenary.
Can I comment, please?
Yes.
So the resolution was sent to the MRC on Friday by Mayor Orr. All I did was help to clarify the wording, and so it was 3 days before asking for this resolution. In the past, though, we have had resolutions come up right at the meeting, in the middle of the meeting. And the one I would reference is the Flood Control Committee. That resolution was not put on the table 3 days before. So I think we've played by the rules pretty carefully. And this is a project which involves the National Research Council. They put $500,000 into the project so far. They want to move forward and do a demonstration project right here at the Litchfield site. So I think this is just a general resolution of support for the project, and it doesn't have any money attached to it at this time.
Okay. Can I just?
Jane, I'd like to say something too whenever you're finished. Okay, there's no rush. Go ahead.
I just had one other concern, and that is just like last month, the resolution to welcome Ren Maddox to the Pontiac, it went to all of the same ministers, and now here's another announcement going out to all the ministers. I feel that for the benefit of the Pontiac, when we send letters to people like Minister Fitzgibbon, Minister DeFore, we should be making a specific request. We shouldn't just be making announcements. I think it's very confusing to them. And Mayor Gagnon was asking, well, did we hear back from them? Well, what's there to hear? We should, like this particular resolution isn't asking for anything. So that is why I was thinking it should have gone back to plenary, because you could then actually make a request and get some action.
But this project,
This resolution is just stating the facts, and we're telling them that we're still open for business. That's what this resolution is all about.
Okay, well, I don't think they thought you were closed, but did anyone else want to? Doris, you wanted to speak?
Yes, I just wanted to say something. Donnie mentioned Sheenborough, and me being back here, I have like down in the lower end of the Pontiac, we support everything. And I've thought long and hard about this, and being in Sheenborough and traveling in the up into the Crown land and that, and seeing the waste that's left in the forest that could be used if a project like this goes through. Like, I definitely support it, and I'd really like to see it coming to the Pontiac. And if it does go forward, it will definitely, it's going to help everybody in the Pontiac, all the municipalities. You just have to drive through and see the waste. And what I was told and heard, it picks up all the material.
Good.
And you know, that's what we're all about these days.
That's what we need. And I'm really excited about our Lac Paul, because there are many projects that we will have a chance to hear about and discuss. And there are at least 3 that would take care of pulp and biomass. And, you know, if just one of these moves forward, we will be rejoicing. And if we could get more than one, it means more people working and the wood stays here. If the saw logs leave, at least we've got many other resources for the pulp and biomass, whether it's creating hydro, whether it's creating steam, etc. Did anyone else want to speak on this, Kim Carty?
Yes, I just have a question. It's just a bit confusing because Lynn asked the question if this project is going to be in the Pontiac. So are we talking about Red Maddox or Biopark? Like, it's two different, as Colleen mentioned, it's 2 different projects. So the resolution here, I believe we're still speaking of Red Maddox.
No.
Just a minute. Red Maddox. Kim is right about one thing. Red Maddox is mentioned as one of the partners. So Colleen, is it for the biopark to move forward, do you have to have Red Maddox? That's the question.
Not Red Maddox in particular, no.
Another company like
you
it.
You would need a biorefinery.
Okay.
Winston, you can.
Yes. I just wanted to mention again, this is a resolution in support of the biopark, where a lot of work has been done already. To pass this resolution is not going to hurt us. It has the potential of passing this resolution will help us. So it's, I would say it's in the best interest of the Pontiac.
Can I ask for the support letters from 18 municipalities? Is that to help with the IFIT funding for 2021? Is that the purpose, or you just want 18 municipalities to all send letters to all of those ministers, or what do we do with the 18 municipalities?
So Jane, again, this resolution is about supporting a potential biopark project and to continue its development. So it's been developed to a certain point at this time, and the group, the National Research Council, wants to develop it further. They want to do a demonstration project. If this gets support of the MRC Pontiac, it is a good step forward. If it gets the support of all of the municipalities or some of the municipalities, it's also a good step forward. It's not going to do any damage to anybody.
Okay.
Jane, if I can just say something.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for the past, I think, 3 months. Well, since November, since I'm there. We did send out a resolution last month for support. We did do that, as you mentioned a while ago. And also, we also had a vote where we had 9 mayors for a project and 9 mayors against. And this is always being brought up again. So to a certain extent, I think it's a disrespect for the 9 mayors that voted against this project, and we keep on bringing it back in different ways. So like you said, I think it should have been mentioned in the plenary and to have discussions, but we already discussed it, we voted, but then we're still talking about the same thing. That's just my opinion.
If I may, Debbie, may I say something? Debbie, if I may, I don't know how you felt you should vote. This wasn't about killing a project. This is about an individual being removed from the project. This had nothing to do with the project itself. Maybe you didn't understand that, but your mayors that voted the same way as you did, they can respond to me too. This had nothing to do with the project at all. It had to do with one individual.
Yes, because exactly what you're saying, Debbie, is that the 9 mayors that voted against the renewing Pierre Vézina's contract also voted against pursuing a project that is $100 million project, possible project coming to Leachfield at the industrial park. Also, the biopark, which is $500,000 has already been invested by the federal government, and which, you know, so I didn't understand that they were halting the project. They were voting against the project. I understood they were voting against the renewal of Mr. Vézina's contract. To me, that's two very different things. If we're talking about quitting on a project, which I must say the warden did state that it was no longer an MRC project, which has been from the get-go. So I think we need lots of clarification.
Yeah, and I think that's one more reason, Colleen, that we should have brought it up at the plenary so that we can have these conversations instead of being public.
Exactly. You know,
That was just my point.
in fairness, it's not time sensitive. This is a democracy. The 9 mayors that voted the way they did have a right to their own opinions. That is how they felt they should vote. And nothing is going to change that. So at this point, I guess we will have a vote on the resolution of support of the biopark. But I wish we could just send it back to plenary and have a proper discussion on it. You know, mayors can vote the way they choose. So I will simply ask we'll call the vote, but if there are any questions about this, Mayor Orr, can they be asked at the next plenary, please?
I think it's self-explanatory. We're just naming all the points.
Actually, there's a lot in this resolution, and I've had many mayors express their concern and their questions. So if we're not answering them tonight, we can answer them at plenary or at the Lac of Paul. Okay, so I'll call the question. I'll call the question. And
can I get something clarified? Just so you mean to say that there's a possibility that the mayors will not support a resolution that simply states the installation or the implementation of a biopark, which to research the NRC and Canmet Energy have put $500,000 into this so far.
Actually, Mayor Lavriere, I'm sorry, I have to stop you.
You don't, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, you have no right to be scolding or lobbying or whatever, you know. I don't know how.
Hard time understanding. So,
well,
but everybody's allowed their vote. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll call the question. I suppose this resolution is moved by Mayor Orr. As we always say, all those in favor, and if there's anyone opposed who doesn't choose to support this, say so. All those in favor? Is there anybody opposed?
I would like to have it brought back to I'd like to have it brought back to plenary. So some areas, the idea of the biopark is fantastic. I like the idea. I like the idea that the federal government, I want clarification before we do any more.
So
All right,
Jane,
just one moment. So we have had one mayor ask that it go back to plenary. So I'll vote first on this going back to plenary. And if there's enough support for that, it will go back to plenary. Otherwise,
Jane,
it will be approved.
Jane, we're already in a motion right now. You can't
Yeah.
change your motion.
No.
We're already in a motion. You can't
was
change your motion in one way. Go ahead with the vote.
Well, it was.
You can veto.
No.
Jane, could I
I've
make,
never used my power of veto yet. Gee, thanks
Jane,
for reminding
We're
me.
just asking that it goes to plenary if there's
Yes,
questions.
and it's not time sensitive, so really, you know, with
Why
the-
is it so time sensitive?
and just a moment, with the corridor, we listened and we're having a special meeting in 2 weeks. If there are mayors that would like clarification and would like this to go to plenary, I'll ask for a vote now on that.
excuse me, Jane, could I make a suggestion?
Yes.
We could, if Brent agrees, we could add further resolved to this resolution that it go back to plenary.
Thank you. That's your amendment. Does everyone accept that amendment? Thank you very much, Mayor
Yes.
Sundstrom.
Yes.
And you, all right. So the resolution as amended, that this will go back to plenary. All those in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Opposed? Thank you very much. I appreciate that collaboration. Then it carries. It will go back to plenary. And now we are at the end of the meeting. Could I have a resolution to close the meeting?
Jim Gibson.
Moved by Mayor Laporte. And we are at 8:25. It's past the curfew. So for those of you who need to get home, I hope you get home safely and that you don't get a ticket. Thank you very much, everybody. See you soon. Take care. Keep safe.
Take care, Dan.
Right.